Hello there, welcome to CoreTV News at 4. I am Gete. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has solicited the support of members of the 8th Assembly in his quest towards developing the state. Ambode made the appeal during the proclamation of the State Assembly. Abiola Oluwole was at the Assembly chambers. His report is presented from our studios.
Quoting Section 105, subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution, Governor Akinwumi Ambode proclaimed the 8th Lagos State House of Assembly with call on members to put the state first in their transactions. Before presenting the proclamation letter to the clerk of the House, Olusegun Abiru, Ambode urged members of the House to join hands with him in the quest of developing the state.
As you settle down to commence your legislative duties, I seek your support. On my part, I am committed to ensuring that all policies of government are legitimized in these hallowed chambers. I will work and collaborate with you and also respect your views and opinions, irrespective of the party that you represent.
Afterwards, the clerk Olusegun Abiru proceeded to formally read the letter to the inaugurated house.
I read the proclamation. Lagos State Government Proclamation. First one to the power vested beginning by subsection 3 of Section 105 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. I, Akinwumi Ambode, Governor of Lagos State, do hereby proclaim that the first session of the 8th Assembly of the Lagos State House of Assembly will convene today, the 8th day of June 2015, in the hallowed chamber of the Lagos State House of Assembly in Greater Lagos.
Honorable Mudashiru Obasa from Agege Constituency 1 was elected as Speaker of the Assembly. While the proclamation was on, security operatives had a tough time controlling the crowd. The Lagos House, as constituted, has 32 members from All Progressives Congress and 8 from the People's Democratic Party.
The All Progressives Congress Party on Sunday pulled through its plan for a consensus candidate for the position of Senate President with the adoption of Ahmed Lawan. The mock election, however, had only 35 out of 59 APC senators elect in attendance because a large chunk of the incoming senators backing Bukola Saraki for the post boycotted the process. At the end of the vote, the Yobe North senator secured 33 out of 35 votes, while George Akume emerged as Deputy Senate President. Designate correspondent Helen Okparachukunike witnessed the late-night process at the International Conference Center. Her report is presented from our studios.
The meeting earlier scheduled for 8 p.m. could not begin until late into the night. But surprisingly, only 35 out of 59 APC senators-elect showed up for the party summons. Conspicuous in their absence were the other contender for the seat, Bukola Saraki, and key leaders of what is now known as the like-minded senators. Thereafter, the party's leadership engaged them in a closed-door meeting, apparently to smoothen some rough edges of their persuasion for the members to depict a common voice. Chairman of the party, John Oyegun, after calling in the media, outlined the pattern of the election and nominations began.
Transparency will be our watchword. Apparently, some of us still have some difficulties adjusting to this reality. But as time goes on, like our candidate said, as time goes on, this spirit of change must begin to percolate in every single thing that we do.
Senator Lawan's nomination was seconded by Senators Oluremi Tinubu and Robert Boroface, while Shehu Sani nominated Senator George Akume for Deputy Senate President. Given that there was no counter nominations, voting then commenced in an open ballot system, with counting and results done immediately.
Senator Abdullahi Adamu.
1, 2, 3, 4.
After having satisfied that Senator Dr. Ahmed Lawan has fulfilled all requirements of the party and has scored highest number of votes cast, is hereby declared as the sole candidate of the All Progressive Congress.
At the end, Lawan, the sole candidate, polled 33 votes to emerge Senate President designate. George Akume secured 31 for Deputy Senate President. Ironically, Senator Ahmed Abubakar's votes for the two candidates were voided, having voted for nobody. APC's choice for the Senate presidency then proceeded to make an acceptance, promising to reach out to PDP senators.
I want to assure Nigerians that the legislature, the federal legislature, the Senate and the House, as chairman of the National Assembly, if I become the Senate President, from Tuesday, by the grace of God, will be a legislature that is for Nigerians.
APC leaders have scaled the first stage and may have guaranteed 33 votes for Lawan, but there are 76 more at stake in the 109-seat chamber. Analysts and political watchers say there is still a lot more work to be done between now and Tuesday to win over the Saraki group.
APC senators-elect backing the aspiration of Bukola Saraki have, however, rejected the outcome of the mock election conducted by the party leaders. They explained in a statement jointly signed by Dino Melaye and Sani Yerima that they decided to boycott the process because APC leaders insist on open ballot system as opposed to the open circuit used for the House of Representatives. The group, which tagged themselves Senators of Like Minds, maintained that they have resolved to wait till Tuesday to pick the Senate President of their choice. They also argue that they have 65 senators-elect across party lines in their ranks and would prove their strength on election day. Members of the House of Representatives who are backing the candidature of Yakubu Dogara for the speakership have dismissed the process that led to the emergence of House Minority Leader Femi Gbajabiamila as the consensus candidate. Briefing newsmen on Sunday in Abuja, spokesman for the group Abdul Munim Jibrin said it was fraudulent to inform the public that an election was held and Gbajabiamila got 154 votes while Yakubu Dogara had 3 votes. Representative Jibrin said the mock election was a mockery of democracy because Dogara's supporters walked out of the venue even before the process began. The lawmaker insisted that members of the 8th Consolidation Group did not partake in the election and have consequently rejected the outcome. The All Progressives Congress APC is reaching out to all its members in the incoming 8th National Assembly who may be aggrieved after the emergence of the party's official candidates on Saturday. The party said in a statement issued in Abuja on Sunday by its National Secretary, Mai Malabuni, that it is natural for some members to be disappointed by the outcome of the straw poll that was conducted to select the party's official candidates for the post of Senate President and House of Representatives. The APC explained that its role in the entire business of ensuring a common front within the party ahead of Tuesday's election is that of an honest broker, saying its goal of ensuring that the party does not go into the election with more than one candidate for each post has now been achieved. The party appealed to all aggrieved members to sheath their swords and allow peace to reign in the overall interest of not just the party, but the entire nation. President Muhammadu Buhari has arrived in Munich, Germany, unarmed with what government officials described as a wish list, in line with the demand of a group of 7 G7 industrialized countries. The G7 had earlier requested the then president-elect to prepare a shopping list and come with it for their consideration in what is seen as a goodwill gesture towards the new leader and the country. Presidential spokesman Garba Shehu said in a statement from Munich that top of the list of the request President Buhari would tender before the G7 leaders is a problem of security. The president said he has used every opportunity at his disposal ahead of the meeting to discuss the country's needs with specific reference to terrorism and development needs at person-to-person meetings and phone conversations with some of these leaders. He also noted that the leaders of the industrialized nations have shown a preparedness to work with Nigeria to help the country out of our problems. President Buhari is scheduled to hold meetings on the sidelines with the host, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, the French President Francois Hollande, Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper, the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, and the World Bank President Jim Yong Kim. Former head of state Ernest Shonekong has charged Nigerians to support the new administration of Muhammadu Buhari. The former head of the interim national government says Nigerians should exercise patience with the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration to ensure that the nation gets to the next level.
I think, as I said, we've made a lot of progress. I think the new president can only just build on the progress that has been made so far. But it will require the support of each and every one of us to make him succeed. He has to succeed because continents are competing amongst themselves. Countries are competing amongst themselves. Companies are competing amongst themselves. So we cannot be an island to ourselves. We must join the competition. And in order to be able to make the load lighter, each and every one of us must contribute our quota to make sure that it succeeds.
The People's Democratic Party has urged the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, to call the Lagos State chapter of his party to order. According to the Lagos PDP, the APC leadership is trying to interfere in the democratic selection of the leadership of the Lagos State House of Assembly scheduled to be inaugurated on Monday. In a statement issued on Sunday by its Publicity Secretary, Taufik Gani, the party stated that the call was necessitated by the confirmed moves of lobbying and coercion of members of the House in order to vote in favor of a particular member, which the PDP describes as not likely to represent the interest of the masses, but the interest of his godfathers. The PDP therefore tasked the APC in Lagos to justify its slogan of change by not stage managing elections in the state. It particularly asked Tinubu to caution other members so as to allow free and fair election of the House. It, however, admonished its 8 members in the House of Assembly to vote according to their best assessment and conscience for the betterment of the state. The People's Democratic Party has advised Osun State Governor Ralph Aregbesola to sell the helicopter purchased for security surveillance and stop wasteful spending in order to raise money to pay salaries of workers in the state. The Director of Media and Strategy of the PDP in Osun State, Diron Odeyemi, gave this advice in a statement in Osogbo on Sunday. The opposition party also accused the governor of wasting the state's resources on politics and arming of a group of youths he called state boys. The PDP called on the new members of the Osun State House of Assembly not to turn themselves to rubber stamp of the executive arm of the government. According to the party, the people of the state now place their hope on the lawmakers to check the excesses of the governor in the interest of the masses. However, the governor described the suggestions and allegations from the opposition party as infantile. Speaking through a statement issued by his media aide, Semiu Okonlawon, Aregbesola said the PDP was just seeking cheap publicity with their suggestions and spurious allegations. A Bayelsa State High Court sitting in Yanagwa will on Tuesday give a celebrated hearing in the suit brought before it by the suspended chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Sam Inokuba. Inokuba had gone to court over the activities of the PDP's disciplinary committee, which expelled some members for alleged anti-party activities. The case instituted by Inokuba and Osom Blankson is challenging the constitution of the committee. The court, presided over by the Chief Judge, Kate Abiri, refused to grant the order for an interim injunction filed by the applicants and directed the council to proceed with the originating motion. Abiri wrote that the disciplinary committee had already taken some actions by expelling and suspending some members, and so granting an injunction will have no effect anymore. She then adjourned the case until Tuesday for a substantive matter to begin. A joint security team has raided a village called Kekebi on the outskirts of Kaduna. The operation was targeted at 2 Boko Haram suspects, and it involved a team of soldiers and state security operatives. CoreTV News learned that 1 soldier died in the gun battle, while the suspects were said to have escaped, leaving their wives. Eyewitnesses say the operation took place between the hours of 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. No official reaction is forthcoming from the military authorities several hours after the gun battle. It's CoreTV News at 4. We'll take a break. Stay with us.
As news breaks, people don't let events pass without giving their comment or reactions.
When the problem arises in society, these are the people that will be consulted.
To cleanse the corruption in society, we are not to provide information for good life and also security of life and property in this country.
The academic society have the loudest voice on this platform.
Whether you call it a sovereign national conference or a national conference, it's about the people of Nigeria.
There should be a change in power.
In any way they can do it.
I think there's a script already.
Every Tuesday at 8:45 p.m. on this station. From the Ivory Tower, a must-watch for the learning minds.
Chairman Police Service Commission Mike Okiro denies embezzlement allegations against him by a former special advisor on media in the commission. Okiro stated that lies are peddled against him for redeploying the said staff Aaron Kassier, who wanted to blackmail him also for being unable to extort money from for his wedding. The crisis of Obaship in Ikere-Ekiti has escalated as the lawmakers of the town say they have performed the necessary rites in choosing an Oguga elect through consultation of Ifa Oracle and voting. The women of the town in a protest reject the selection process, saying the Ifa Oracle is the only way to select a king, calling the government to disregard the process and order a fresh selection process. Rashid reports from Ikere-Ekiti.
Voted, if I spoke, we wrote everything. The chairman, the secretary of the local government was there.
The head of Ikere Kingmakers speaking on the process which produced Jimmy Adu, the Ogoga elect. But in sharp rejection of the selection process, Ikere women in a protest which cut across the major streets of Ikere-Ekiti, starting from Araromi area and terminating at the palace, chanting different war songs, say only the oracle can be used to select a king, not by election.
The king's makers are bent on voting, whereas they are to consult the oracle. From time immemorial, it's the oracle that is used in choosing a king, not by election.
The state government was quoted to have written Ikere to expedite action in choosing a new king. But this set of Ikere citizens are saying a new selection process must be initiated to avert chaos in the town.
This time that the chieftaincy, the kingmaker in this town use to go and select the king. And where they select the king, the man they select is not from royal family. If they can allow us to select our king from the right sources, there will be no any problem within the town.
The state government, fully aware of the crisis brewing in Ikere, says activities are underway to stem the tide.
They have a right to ask for a new selection process. We have a department that will look into that. And then, of course, we are a government of the people. We'll see where the majority view lies, and we would do justice.
Ikere-Ekiti is the second largest town in Ekiti State, and the state government, just coming out of one political crisis, cannot afford to have another communal crisis to contend with. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ikere-Ekiti.
The Anglican Diocese of Nigeria, organizers of the Biennial Mothers Union Conference, had over 3,000 women come together to address the issues that concern women in the nation and how they can be better helpers in the society at St. Andrew Anglican Church, Ofene Onoro North of Umuahia North Local Government. Correspondent Ajibade Officer was there. He filed in this report.
The 5 days event, which featured several activities, was brought to an end today with a speech of the president. While speaking, Ezine Patient made mention of some of their achievements over the years.
Housing for our widows. The widows apartment project also experienced progress this year, as the women of these dioceses were able to build a 4-bedroom apartment for Mrs. Odochi Blessing, Aluku of St. Andrew's Church, Isiama Afara, East Archdeaconry, which was dedicated in October 2014 by the diocese. We shall, by the grace of God, commence another building for a widow at the end of this conference. To God be the glory.
She took time to address the issue of scholarships some parents have not transparent.
Scholarship scheme. Our scholarship scheme is still going on. We thank God for the beneficiaries of this scheme who are doing well. A lot of people have applied to join this scheme, but we have held back on these applications because we want the initial set to graduate first before we embark on a new set. By the beginning of next year, we will be able to receive fresh intakes into the scheme.
It was indeed a memorable event, as most participants, one way or the other, were empowered. Some of them testified to this.
As you can observe, see that it is a spiritual product. The bishop's wife, all that she said was to uplift spiritually. Everything that is going on is for the benefit of people living according to the word of God.
A visit to the motherless home and less privileged and distribution of food items put smiles on the faces of many. From Humaya, the capital of Abia State, Ajibade Awofeso reporting for CoreTV News.
With Boko Haram insurgency showing no signs of abating, 9,000 children and women displaced by the insurgency in the northeast have been discovered in a remote village near Benin City, the Edo state capital. Our correspondent who visited the camp found in this report.
This pastor, Solomon Folorenshaw, who leads the Christian group that is in charge of the camp, says the internally displaced persons in the last 2 years of their arrival have overstretched the facility initially built for 400 persons. According to him, the center, which was established in 1992 to take care of the less privileged, is now home to these Nigerians who are refugees in their own country.
Before we saw the need of the children in the northeast who Boko Haram killed their parents and displaced. Some of them ran to the mountains, some eating sand, some eating stones, some eating leaves. A lot of them went to the caves, were killed by pythons, chimpanzee and tigers, and there were a lot who started dying of cholera and malnutritious disease, and many fled to Cameroon. And then I started getting phone calls from our pastor's friends there that we from the south here should help to rescue these children.
Evelyn Omege, the camp guide who conducted newsmen around the camp, disclosed that about 100 of them, both boys and girls who had chickenpox, had been quarantined in a separate facility to avoid the spread of the disease, while others were in different classrooms as part of efforts to help reintegrate them.
So all of them are having chickenpox. So we have to separate them and bring them here while we are giving them medication.
Some of the displaced spoke of their experience of Boko Haram terrorists in Goza and other places in the state.
After going to the mountain, they now follow us. They kill some people and they even kill my husband. In this mountain, there is no food. We are just eating leaves.
Kuma da sun kashe mai gida din na je na nime shi da na same shi na binne shi mun dade baka samun sa mishi.
I was just looking for my husband. She was just looking for her husband. After she have seen her husband, she now buried him and just put some sand on top of the husband.
Bayan kwana biyu kuma sun zo sun same ni su ɗibe mu da yaran mu da yarana sun kai mu Goza.
After 2 days, they now come and kidnap us, me and she and her children.
But when they have started killing the people, pursuing the people, getting to 3 months, we are sleeping in the cave of the mountain. When they have attacked that place, some of us, they have run, some of us, they have stayed long there. But when they turn, we think that this thing, it will not come to the end. We have reached to Cameroon around 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock before you trek. Even you are trekking to that Cameroon, you will not go in direct way because there are some other way. If you reach there, they will just catch you and kill you there. That's how I have escaped there, and I have reached to Jalingo.
The displaced, however, say they are thankful and express their appreciation to the Christian community, University of Benin Teaching Hospital, and the Nigerian Medical Association for the free treatment. At the time of filing this report, the state's government was yet to visit the place.
Government at various levels have over the years been accused of multiple taxation. Is this true? Speaking at a tax and governance platform in Lagos, an official of the Lagos State government, Wale Musa, educates on levies, rates and taxes, and different arms undertake different revenue collection. The head of department.
We have a huge problem before us in terms of, to be honest, Nigeria is not getting the best out of the social contract relationship. We could do better with internally generated revenue. We could do better with tax collection. We could do better with the management of the tax collection.
Local governments do not collect taxes, yet they say multiple taxation. So people are confused. If you have refuse in your house, the local government comes to collect money for that refuse, you say you are being taxed. If you have a shop, I have a house, there's no shop there, I will not pay for the shop if I don't have a shop. You have a shop in your house, you come there to go and pay. You say you have paid for refuse, and you now have to pay for shop, multiple taxation.
The nation's exchange reserves have been depleted by $469 million in the past 2 weeks. The latest figures from the Central Bank of Nigeria have revealed after hitting $29.819 billion on May 18, 2015, the country's forex reserve commenced a descent that dragged on for more than 2 weeks and stood at $29.35 billion on June 3, 2015. The reserves, which was $29.481 billion on April 16, 2015, had risen to its highest level of $29.819 billion on May 18th, but this figure could not be sustained by the Apex Bank, a development that analysts said was caused by the demand for dollar by importers. It was also learned that the instability in the prices of crude on the global oil and gas market had not helped matters, as this had often rubbished efforts put in by the CBN to sustain the reserves. Côte d'Ivoire women national team were given a harsh welcome to the Women's World Cup, with the debutants thrashed 10-0 by Germany. The tournament debutants were dealt an absolute hammering on Onataro in what was the second biggest win in the competition's history. The win was the second biggest ever at the Women's World Cup, with Germany also holding the record 11-0 over Argentina in 2007. Lionel Andre Messi has vowed to keep fighting over titles on all fronts following their treble triumph. The Barcelona's forward described the triumph as a spectacular way to finish the season after his troublesome 2014. The Leos Enrique's side defeated Juventus 3-1 in Saturday's Champions League final to seal the second treble in the club's history, following their La Liga and Copa del Rey victories. Messi, who lost the World Cup final with Argentina and won no silverware with Barcelona last year, was thrilled to finish the campaign in the greatest way possible. German Chancellor Angela Merkel holds a news conference at the G7 summit on economic powers in Bavaria in southern Germany. US President Barack Obama and British Prime Minister David Cameron will also address the media later. Russia has been excluded from what was previously known as the G8 since the annexation of Crimea last year. And that's the news for this hour. Thank you so much for watching. Please join us again. I am Gift or Gete. Good evening. You were expecting me to come and read Davido Graduate, Nigerian pop star.